Hey, welcome back to Crypto Castaway. Today's topic, altcoins. Are they dead? Are they down to the point where they cannot return? Altcoins are like a double down bet in this sort of market. You've got Bitcoin, which is like your primary bet. You're betting that it's going to work, that decentralization is a better way of governance, and that scarcity and deflation is a better type of currency. You're betting on ones and zeros instead of people-driven markets. These markets promise riches and glory, and to many, they have made a lot of money for them. Altcoins are a good way to make money for sure, and have been in the past. If you consider Bitcoin risky, then altcoins are like risky squared. If you take a look at their value compared to Bitcoin, right now, you will wonder why anybody ever bought this stuff in the first place. And it'll make you think, if you did purchase them, why you did purchase them in the first place. If you've been holding altcoins for a while now, you are probably hurting pretty bad. Some are down 80 to 90, even 90+% of their value. But there's a primary question I want to focus on here. What is the difference between undervalued and valueless? I'm sure many of you out there hope that altcoins will boost again, similar to the way Bitcoin has. At the end of 2017, Bitcoin was coming off extreme highs. Altcoins followed suit in this pattern. They sustained growth in the hundreds, if not thousands of percent. Many altcoins outperformed Bitcoin at their peak. But as the old saying goes, what goes up must come down, and in an equal and opposite grandeur. Bitcoin dropped down from its high of $20,000 to about $3,200, which is about 85%. But look at it now. It's rebounding and sitting somewhere in the $11,000 range. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good rebound. More important than that rebound, it's sustaining growth consistently. It's not spiking in 6 days or 4 hours by thousands of dollars per hour. It's going up at a much slower pace. And many hope that this slower pace will continue in this bull market to come. I suspect the altcoin market will do a very similar thing. Once Bitcoin begins to stabilize and projects have the gas they need again, then it's going to be a totally different story. Projects will continue building and starting to deliver on the things that they promised to their investors, and at a higher velocity. The companies that run altcoins that have made it through the 2018 bear market are for the better. Have their prices got chopped? Yes. Have investors gotten scared? Yes. You have to understand that this market is extremely new. Not since 2008 when Bitcoin was created, but probably since 2016 was when the most recent run of altcoins has come into play. Many of them actually offer utility in some form or another. Now, we talked about what utility that is, but let's talk about here and now. Bitcoin is at 70% market dominance right now, and it's grabbing all the positive headlines. Seeing something drop 95% or more is very difficult to do. Even if you're down 95%, these coins have a tendency to jump, like I said, hundreds or thousands of percent. Now, I'm not telling you to sell, I'm not telling you to buy, I'm not telling you to do anything. Just consider what I'm saying here. We've seen these things jump 1,000%. We've seen them jump 5,000%. But we've also seen in a previous cycle, a lot of them that do not have any clout die out. People were saying the same thing about Bitcoin when it was at $3,200. Said, oh, this is dead. We're going to zero. It's valueless. The network has very little value, and it's not a sustainable asset anymore. Sorry, done. Now multiply that increased hurt across thousands of projects. Imagine the uncertainty that those projects are facing right now, and as a market as a whole. We are in sort of the anger and depression phase of the altcoin bear market. These are powerful emotions that can take people from thinking they're a genius down to being like, I'm a moron. They really eat away at your ego and create sort of a hysteria. That is the power of a bear market. When the most pain is seen, that is when the best time to purchase is. When people really start to capitulate, and you can do your own research and find projects that are generally going to stay around for a while. I think that's really the biggest thing. If you think it's going to be here in a year and in the top 10 likely of all the crypto projects that are out there, you're pretty good. I'm not saying you're 100% good. I have no idea. But I've done that, and I'm pretty okay with the choices that I've made. They are projects that I believe are going to be around in a year when the altcoin market does happen again in that time frame. Everyone needs to determine their own time frame, however. How long are you looking to stay in this for? People handle emotions different ways. And this is one of the big reasons why people that consider themselves seasoned traders try to take the emotion out of it as much as they possibly can. Now, I don't think this is possible, but you can still get 50% out here, change your habits a little bit, and to make it less emotionally driven, but there's no way to take your emotions out of it. It's just a silly statement. So, but what they do is claim, especially with these altcoins that do move around a lot and are less sure than Bitcoin, what they do is they just say, I have no attachment to this. If it goes up, I sell it. I just target everything out, and we'll see what happens. Throw a dart at the board, pick a coin, and call it a day. But at least they have a system. And the more the system gets tested, the more you're going to figure out if it works or not. There is no match for experience. I suspect that many of these more seasoned players are going to start picking up altcoins on the cheap. Now, but how do you know what their real motive is? Is it what they say or what they do? Now, most people just show what they say, and they just say it, but they don't exactly show always what they're holding, and it can be confusing. This is where the agnostic and emotionless part of it comes into play. Things like Twitter and Telegram and different forums are just melting pots of information and bias. Now, there's a time and place for these things, but I try to choose things that I truly am interested in, that I believe in. And I do have emotional attachment to some of my altcoins because there's just no way not to. I think the patient will win out if they're able to hold on to these coins and the coins are there a year later and surviving and thriving. There's absolutely room in this space for more than one player. If Bitcoin is the digital gold, then all of these altcoins might be different stocks or they're commodities. Everybody tries to label them as a certain thing, but as long as they have value, it's proven that they have value. The altcoin market has value. It's undeniable. It's 30% of $200 billion or whatever, and that's a pretty significant amount. And it's impossible to say that altcoins are dead until there is no longer a market for them. If people are trading it, if there's liquidity involved, and if there are projects to be supported, they are not dead. Maybe selling and getting back in at a lower price isn't a bad idea, but are you good enough to time the market? I don't know. That's something that you sort of have to determine for yourself. If you think you are, you take the risk, jump back in at the low point, boom. And you're right, excellent, awesome. I want the most people to be right that they can, because that means they're trying. That means they're doing something and fleshing out a system that they feel works for them. And this is sort of where I get into whole issues about private groups and, mind share of, or group thinking for trades. Everybody has different emotions and approaches to how they handle making positions. I think the only feasible way is for you to figure it out on your own. And I think there are a lot of parallels in that nature to life too. If you don't figure it out on your own and someone tries to tell you what it is that you're trying to do, be patient. Stick to your convictions. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. It's only going to end one or two ways, but make sure you understand that when you take the risk. I'd love to start a discussion with you guys. I've got a blog. I've got anywhere you want to talk about this stuff. I am all ears. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment below, and thank you very much for watching. Crypto Castaway out. See you guys in the next one.